Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Clear with the knife video. Today I've got more of a discussion video. It's my most anticipated knives coming out in 2016. I have generated my list. SHOT Show's over. Cold Steel's put out their stuff. I've watched all the videos, and there are a few things that I'm pretty excited about. Some things that I'm really excited about. So I wanted to share that with you. And what I really want you to do here, this will be a really fun comment section hopefully, is share what you're most anticipating, the thing that you're looking forward to the most. Maybe you're saving for it already, even though it's not out yet. So I would love to hear that in the comments below. For myself, the sad thing about this is since these knives don't exist yet or aren't available for purchase yet, there won't be a lot of knives in this video, so I will show you my EDC today is my American Lawman, and I'm carrying the UltraTac flashlight. I'm actually really impressed with this little light, so I may do a review on that coming up. Now, let's go ahead and get into the knives that I'm looking forward to. Very quickly, I'll give you the companies, and then I will roll in a bunch of pictures in a second here before I get into that. So, from Kershaw, I'm pretty excited about some stuff Kershaw's doing. CRKT. Cold Steel was a bit of a disappointment for me, but there are one or two blades that maybe would be interesting. One thing, I was very impressed with Kizer. Very impressed with Zero Tolerance. And those are the main ones. The tops, also I honorable mention, I'm not going to put it on my list. It's not on my list, but the Tops Bob folder looks pretty cool as well. So that's sort of my introduction. Here's some images that I've gathered from around the internet. I'll share those with you here now. And now that you've seen those pictures, let me go ahead and talk about some of those blades. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know what order those are going to appear in, so I'm going to do my best to make some sense out of this, but I can't promise you that my comments now are going to match exactly with the pictures you've just been looking at. But let me start off with CRKT. There are always a couple things from CRKT that I seem to sort of like. This year, I definitely want to check out the Tac. Definitely want to check out the Jettison. And I'm contemplating the Trencher. That's the shovel that they've come out with. Those all look pretty cool. The Jettison is smaller than what I would normally be interested in, but I really like the size. I mean, I really like the shape, and I could see carrying it as, you know, around on your neck or in a pocket, just dropped in a pocket rather than clipped, or as a secondary carry. So I may go ahead and check that one out. The Tac. I love Brian Ty. I love his stuff. Someday maybe I'll get a custom from him. But in the meantime, I have to satisfy myself with CRKT stuff, especially because on the other hand, let's switch to Spyderco now. Anyway, so you've heard my thoughts on CRKT. I'm not impressed with the tie stick from Spyderco. I like it overall. I like the handle. I like the blade shape, but I think the Spyderco hole is not well incorporated. It needs to be placed very differently than it is. So I just can't get into the tie stick, but that's okay. I'll probably survive. From Spyderco though, I am really interested in and kind of excited about the Gale Bradley 2. I really want to pick one of those up. Looks really awesome. I love the changes. They've lightened it up. The blade is longer, and you guys know me. I always like a bigger blade rather than a smaller blade, so I really would like to pick up a Gale Bradley 2. The Nirvana as well. I was surprised there wasn't a Nirvana at SHOT Show, but we all know about it. If you're kind of aware, if you're into knives at all, you've probably heard about it. The other things that, I guess let's go to the next one, Cold Steel. I wasn't super impressed, okay? Cold Steel does not have a lot of great folders coming. They have a bunch of other stuff that's kind of cool, but I don't really get into that. I will say that Broken Skull looks like a pretty utilitarian blade. The MSRP on it probably indicates it's probably going to sell for less than anything else. You know, it's probably going to be around $65–70. That's a pretty good price for what will hopefully be a really well-made knife. I think it'll compare favorably to like Spyderco Endura, stuff like that. So that'll be a pretty cool blade, but otherwise I'm not that into anything from Cold Steel. Kizer. Now, I'm actually very interested in a number of Kizers. I don't know that I'll pick them all up, but I do think that they've made a transition this year. Okay, a lot of their knives before I don't know, they were too flashy, and it was like, I think a lot of their knives were examples of, hey, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. There were a lot of things where there's weird anodizing all over it, and there's patterns cut out of flames and stuff like that. And I'm just like, yeah, not cool. Now, though, their knives are a little more normalized. They're a little more practical looking and feeling, and they've got some great designers. So for me, the big ones that I really want to check out are the Roach and the V-Locks. There are also some Vanguard knives that I may check out. The Vanguard series are sort of G10 and VG10 steel, so they're a more budget-friendly price point, but they're based on some of the more expensive designs. They look really cool. There's some of them that I'm really interested in. Okay, so that's from Kizer. I'm going to finish off with ZT because I'm probably most excited about that. But on the way there, the Kershaw grid looks totally awesome. It's sort of along the lines of the Cryo, which I hated. But where the Cryo is sort of short and fat, this looks long and lean. It's a very big blade. So it looks very, very appealing to me. I definitely want to check out a Kershaw grid. Also, the CQC9. You know, I've complained. I reviewed the CQC 8K, I think, and it was fine. You know, I didn't hate it. But I didn't love it. And the CQC9, I think there's a lot of potential there. That might be a knife that I really, really love and just give a raving review. And I hope that it's as good as it looks sort of on paper. Okay, so those are the ones I'm mainly interested in. Now, I will say honorable mention, this is sort of down the list. This is a knife where if I see it for a great price or if someone wants to trade for it, I may be like, yeah, okay. The Kershaw Induction with the Hawk Lock. I like the look of it. It's a little small for me and a little fat. So although I'm not just like crazy about it, it's one that I'd sort of like put on the secondary list or down the way, okay? Now, of all the things that I've looked at, the last couple of years, I hate to say this, but I've been sort of underwhelmed by Zero Tolerance's offerings. You know, I just have not been able to get excited. And I think a lot of that is because, you know, when I was first getting into knives, ZT was all about just this overbuilt, you know, big knives, tough stuff, like things that you feel like if I have a ZT in my pocket, I could be dropped into the wilderness and be fine. You know, that was sort of the reputation they were building. And so they had these really big, tough, awesome blades, the 0300, the 0200, then the 0560. Those to me are just fantastic blades. Then, you know, they kind of moved away from that and their knives were smaller, and yeah, they were more EDC friendly and probably reached a larger segment of the market. But this year, they've introduced the 0909, which is sort of in the same vein as the 0200. I need one. That is so cool. That one's on my list, on my short list. I may even, you know, sign up for some pre-orders for that one. The other one is the 0804. Again, it looks like a total win. Great steel, great size. And again, both of them are larger and they're kind of getting back to that sort of original ZT toughness. Really, really like that. Now, I will say the other two that are still, you know, they're not on the short list, but they're still, you know, in the running. They're knives that I'm really interested in are the 0456, that's the short kind of angular one. I didn't put a picture in of that. And the 0095, which does remind me of the this Custom Knife Factory T95, I think, the black washed one. Kind of looks the same, but again, I think it'll be a really cool blade. S35VN steel, it just looks really awesome. So there you go, guys. Those are my most anticipated knives. Overall, I would say most disappointing, probably Spyderco. And the reason I say that is because there were some knives that I didn't just, when I was watching the Spyderco, you know, intros, there were knives that I didn't just say like, yeah, that one's not for me, but there were knives I was actually like, that looks horrible, okay? Like, I was actually like thinking, this is terrible. The other big disappointment for me is Cold Steel. Yeah, they've got that, what is it, the Colossus, but that looks like not something I'm interested in. I was really hoping to see more limited editions from them, different colors, different blade finishes. but that didn't happen, so I was a little disappointed in that. Maybe they'll do it at Blade. I don't know. I'm still kind of holding out hope. So anyway, those were my sort of most disappointing, Spyderco and Cold Steel. By far, the most impressive for me was Zero Tolerance. There's like 4 or 5 models there that I think are really, really cool. I won't pick up every single one of them, obviously. But there you go, guys. That's what I am most anticipating for this upcoming year, 2016. Love to hear in the comments below what you guys are waiting for and what maybe you've already signed up for a pre-order, or you're already, you've put a deposit down or whatever. So I'd love to hear about that. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'd really like to see some comments on this one because I think we can have some fun here, and we will talk to you soon.